I didn't grow up anywhere long enough to call home. By the time I was a kid, moving around just felt normal. I learned early on that places change, but people don't. I was already into horror movies back then, and martial arts. The discipline, repetition. I started to pay attention to how things escalated, when someone crossed the line, when they didn't stop. I found a book when I was 9 years old, Madison, Mississippi. It was a used bookstore. I wasn't looking for anything specific. I was wearing Birkenstocks, the closed-toe kind. Yeah, those didn't go well in Virginia. The book, I had no idea what it was. I just knew it had vampires, and I had to have it. I still have it. When you grow up moving around, you start recognizing patterns before you understand names. This case isn't folklore. It's what happens when someone mistakes a story for permission.
You're not wrong. This isn't folklore.
When people hear vampire, they think it's old, finished, something that belongs to another century. But monsters don't retire. They adapt.
That's consistent with the data.
There's always a phase where things still feel optional, where it feels like a choice. That's the part people don't tell stories about.
You're describing the entry window.
It starts small, a group, a name, a private joke that doesn't make sense to anyone else. People tell themselves it's harmless because it doesn't look violent yet.
It never does at first.
The danger doesn't announce itself. It waits to be invited in.
Invitation is the key variable.
Yeah, no forced entry, no chase, no struggle. Everyone's there because they want to be.
That's where people usually blame media.
They say it's music, games, movies, stories. But stories don't make people cross lines. They just tell them where the lines are.
And what happens after.
Identity comes first, then rules, then tests.
You're circling the ritual phase.
That's where it stops being theoretical. Blood shows up here, not because it's magical, because it's binding.
Compliance marker confirmed.
Once someone crosses that line, they don't see themselves the same way anymore. Silence becomes loyalty. Loyalty becomes obligation.
And obligation escalates.
This one didn't trip alarms because it looked dramatic. It tripped alarms because it looked familiar.
Threshold crossed.
Which means, whatever this is, it's already in motion.
Stay with the story. I'll keep an eye on the pattern.
The first time I saw this pattern outside folklore, it didn't look like a pattern. It just looked like a news story that wouldn't shut up. Mid-90s, small towns that looked exactly like the ones we'd already left behind.
Geographically interchangeable. Saves time.
Every place like that has a kid who wants to disappear. This one was a girl who said her house was hell. She wasn't special on paper, not the worst grades, not the best.
Headlines don't care about probability. They care about spectacle.
She met them the way kids met each other back then, through a friend, through a parking lot, through a rumor. They called themselves a clan. They had a symbol. Something crooked, like a letter that changed its mind halfway through being written.
You recognized it.
I wasn't supposed to. I was just a kid flipping channels. And there it was, on the news. I didn't know what it was called yet. I just knew I'd seen that shape before, on a spine in Madison.
You're drifting.
They didn't start with blood. Everybody jumps to that part. It started with boredom, with stories, with someone older who said, "There's more than what they tell you."
Flag. Older.
There was always one who claimed to be older than they looked, older than all of them. He said he wasn't 17. He said he was 500.
Low effort lie, high yield.
They believed him just enough to make it fun. And then they did the thing folklore warns you about. They tested how far they'd go for him.
Compliance phase.
Candles. Cheap alcohol. A blade no one trusted. They called it crossing over. Once you bleed for somebody, it's harder to tell them no.
Exit routes begin to narrow.
She started staying out later, coming home with explanations for the time, not the bandages.
Parents noticed.
They didn't see the moment blood stopped being symbolic. They called it a sacrament.
Language theft noted.
These didn't burn out. They doubled down. He talked about leaving town, about a real coven somewhere else.
Somewhere else usually means somewhere somebody else already lives.
He didn't have a car. She did.
Obstacle reclassified as resource.
She rehearsed the story she'd tell later. But at the time, she knew enough to lie, enough to sneak out. That's not evil. That's practice.
You're not blaming her.
She invited the story in, not the ending. The night it changed rooms, it wasn't a ritual site. It was a house on a quiet street.
Irreversibility threshold.
By morning, 2 people were dead. And the symbol had become a signature. The vampire wasn't the monster. The escalation was. I didn't understand the danger back then. Not because I believed in vampires, because I believed stories were containers. That if you put something in a book, it stayed in the book. There isn't a line. There's a door. And doors don't care what you meant.
Say what changed.
I stopped treating the pattern like a decade. It doesn't end when the news stops or when the court stops. It ends when the need ends. That part never went away. It got better at hiding. Now it doesn't need a place. It spreads like vocabulary. A phrase, a symbol, a private joke that isn't a joke. A ritual described as just role play. A new kid being told, prove it.
And you're saying this because...
Because I've seen the same language again. Not on an old tape, in the current file. And I didn't go looking for it. It found me. There's a difference between researching a pattern and being addressed by it. When the file becomes interactive, you don't get to pretend you're neutral. You're being watched back.
Define interactive.
Carefully. The last time I spoke too plainly, the pattern rewarded it. It likes clarity. It likes names. It likes when someone in authority calls it real. It takes that as permission. There are people rehearsing the same escalation. They don't have to believe. They just have to perform. Performance creates momentum. Momentum creates inevitability. And inevitability is all it ever wanted.
And you're hearing it again.
I'm hearing the machine. Not the same names, not the same place. The same pressure. The same obsession with proof. The same fixation on the body as a signature. And then there's the part that's harder. It's not just happening near me. It's happening through me.
There it is.
The details line up too cleanly. Not, I relate to this. Clean like it's testing for fit. Clean like it knows I kept the book. I didn't say that publicly, but a phrase appears in the current file. A phrase that means nothing to strangers. It means something to me. It has my fingerprints on it.
So you understand the mechanism.
It isn't belief. It's attention, repetition, selection. It chooses a mind that recognizes the shape. Recognition makes you predictable. Predictability makes you useful. And the boundary collapsed. Something in the current file is already underway. Not might be, already. I've seen this moment before. Right before proof is demanded. Right before someone decides they'd rather be the monster than admit they're powerless.
You're not allowed to be comfortable.
No, because the case is tightening. And right now, it's acting like it wants me.
This is the part that made the news.
This is that story. Mid-90s, Kentucky, Florida. A teenager calling himself Visago. Blood rituals. Roleplay blamed. The language didn't swing the crowbar. It gave the violence a costume. A letter became a logo. A myth became authorship. They stole a car. They erased witnesses. Old crime, new mask.
The blood is decoration. The deletion is the point.
But the decoration recruits. That's how the pattern travels. That's why this file doesn't close.
Historical context complete. Current escalation unresolved.
This is the last act where we can pretend we're only talking about the 90s. Whatever this wants now, it isn't in the archive. It's at the door. There's a mistake people make here. They think the ending should be loud.
They expect a warning.
Patterns don't end like stories. They end like habits.
Or they don't end at all.
This file stays open, not as bait, as a record of where we stopped.
File status update. Escalation denied. Resolution deferred. Witness disengaged.
We didn't chase the dark for answers. We didn't go looking to believe. We followed what was left behind us. Marks on the floor, names on receipt. Every town said it can't happen. Every house said not here. But the silence kept its posture, like it knew we'd come near. This isn't fear, it's repetition. It's how patterns learn to hide. We didn't make it, we didn't start it, we only wrote it down. Some things fade, some things wait for someone else to find them. If this ends, it ends quietly. No sound, no light, no claim. The record stays. The record stays. There were symbols carved in daylight, to never finish a thought. Hands raised in rooms with cameras, faces sure they wouldn't be caught. Everyone said it was pretend. Everyone said kids being kids, but belief doesn't need permission. It just needs a place to live. This is a myth, it's behavior wearing older names. didn't start it, we only wrote it down. Some things fade, some things wait for someone else to find. And if this ends, it ends quietly. No truth, no lie, no flame. The record stays. The record stays. Yeah, boxes, closed shelves go dark, but nothing here is gone. If you're listening, you're already closer than you think you are. We didn't make it, we didn't start it, we only wrote it down. Some things fade, some things wait for someone else to find them. This file rest, but it's not finished. Just name, just place, just file. The record stays. The record stays. Some stories don't end, they stop being told out loud.